They lost the Ark of the Covenant to the Philistines because they treated that Ark of the Covenant like it was a good luck charm. There's nothing about God or a cross that you put on your neck that you can just rub it and say, okay, everything's good today. Oh, there's trials and tribulation, but one thing through it all, that if you desire the presence of God, he said, I'll be in the midst with you. If you just gather with 2 or 3, he said, I'll drop there in the midst and he'll be there. He meant every word of it tonight. And David, now that he's become king of Israel, he had a desire now to bring the Ark of the Covenant back to Jerusalem. He wants not to go fetch it. I want to go back to the place where it's been sitting for 20 years. It's been pushed to the side. I'm ready to go get it. So he resurrects something. He begins now to take and put together, as this Ark of the Covenant was God's presence. And David wanted that presence sitting in the center of Jerusalem. So he takes 30,000 men and he says, we're going to go now and transport the Ark. This became a national moment or movement of worship. But David found himself in that place. He said, the presence of God means everything to me. He sent 30,000 men. He organized and created a national movement in Israel. And they began to go after the Ark of the Covenant. While they were transporting the Ark, put it on the back of an ox and they started to pull it. The ox hit a bump in the road, old dirt road. When he hit that bump, he reached up and put his hand on it to stop it from falling, trying to save it from the ground. He meant well. And that Bible said it struck him dead immediately. And David, he got a little upset and angry, got a little bit angry even with God for allowing it to happen. He left it at Obed-Edom's house. It sat there for 3 months, is what the Bible said. It stayed there for 90 days. David saw the blessings overflow. So in his mind, he said, I got to get it to Jerusalem. I got to get it to the center place of where God's creation is, God's covenant is. I got to get it here. I got to get it to this place, set it down. He realized that God's presence, when it rests in your house, if you forget everything else we talk about tonight, I want you to remember this. If you get God's presence resting in your house right here, not your house when you physically open the door, walk into in just a few minutes when we leave here, but your house right here, when that presence rests right there, the blessings of a mighty Jehovah Jireh that set over Obed-Edom's house. He's not a respecter of person. If it's set there on him, it'll sit there on you. And David was getting hungry for the presence. I just want to tell us tonight, there's a place. See, we've stopped searching for this. When you can get into the presence of God. Now, I ain't talking about when you just come in here with just some of your buddies. But I'm talking about you yourself, where your heart desires to draw closer to God. Where you say, I want the presence of God more than I want anything else. And all of a sudden, here comes David. David said, I want to go get it. So David sends for the Ark of the Covenant. And he tells him to bring it to Jerusalem. Put it in the middle of the town. That's where it belongs. Set it in the middle of the city. As David entered, the Ark of the Covenant sit down. The piano started. Guitar started to play. That's what David's hearing on the inside as he gets close to that presence. But what made David dance in the middle of that street when he knew that his wife wasn't a prayer? A lot of his friends said, man, you look like a fool. They were ashamed of it. But there's something about the presence of God that, man, it'd take the shame all the way out. You get into the presence. I said, what made him dance? As he sat there and the piano played, the guitar played, the electric guitar, the bass, the drums. And then watch this. It said, then the people that were there started shouting. That's not a running and bucking like we do. But that's when they just started lifting up. I love you, Jesus. I love you, Lord. They started lifting up their voice to what David could hear all that. And I could feel the hair on his body starting to stand up as they started to lift up the name of Jesus. And in the middle of all this going on around him, David's mind got into place and he looked back at what he did for Obed-Edom. And he said, God, you're about to do it for Jerusalem. You're about to do it for my house. You're about to do it for my kingship, my rulership over Jerusalem. And he started to fall down to worship. And the Bible said that David took off that king raiment and he started to dance on them streets. He started to worship a mighty God. He forgot that his wife was on a back balcony. He just began to lift up the name of Jesus.